Bonjour mes amis, messieurs et mesdames, je suis en... j'ai oublié quand... My French is terrible. Anyway, I am at Champforgeuil. Champforgeuil. Okay, this is a Dare Kodiak 100. It's a cargo plane. It's a passenger plane. It's kind of fun to fly. A little bit challenging. And today I'm going to take off on runway 35 here and fly over to the Saône River, circle around Chalon-sur-Saône, follow the Saône River down to Tournus-Cuisserie, I think it's how it's said, Tournus-Cuisserie, somewhere around Tournon. It's only about 17 miles. I may land there and then continue on. I haven't decided. This is an experiment. It's basically, I'm doing more or less a push flight. Although I have a simple flight plan that'll get me to that airport in a landing approach procedure that'll bring me at least to the runway laterally lined up with it. I'm going to fly at a low altitude, maybe 2,000–3,000 feet. Try to do it mostly by hand, and just essentially follow the purple lines here on the map. That's about it. So anyway, my plan is to take off, take a look at the town here, Champforgeuil, Chalon, or Chalon. Champforgeuil, and then I want to fly over to Chalon-sur-Saône, take a look at that, circle around that, and then follow the Saône River south to our destination. I'm going to circle, go down here and turn around. Now let's take off. Let's call it straight out.
Lima Foxtrot, Lima Hotel, traffic Kilo Yankee, India Victor Alpha, India Romeo, taking off runway 35 straight out departure.
That's in case anybody's in the area, which they're not. So this will be the commencement of what I hope will be sort of an adventure. That is, instead of flying with a flight plan, a specific flight plan, and using a lot of autopilot, making it up as I go along and flying almost literally by the seat of my pants. Although we are at runway 35 here. Set the flaps, one notch of flaps out there, and I'm going to do basically a 180 when we take off. And this is the Saône River here. So we're going to head off to the Saône River, find Chalon-sur-Saône, and circle around there, take a good look at it. And I'll explain why when I get there. Here we go. Let's go. Allons-y, messieurs et mesdames. To stay on the runway here. This runway is about 35 feet wide or something like that. And positive climb attitude. And let's get more on course. So as I said, I don't know if this is live weather. We might suddenly encounter real weather, and who knows what that'll be. But it isn't what I doubt if it's what we have right now. I didn't check to see, actually. Let's go find Chalon-sur-Saône. Yeah, and I'm going to level off about 1,800 feet. And we're heading roughly south. 143 degrees. South is 180. And that's Chalon-sur-Saône right there. So let's go look at it. The reason I want to see it from the air is I was here actually once. 2006. Took the train out from Paris by way of Dijon. Changed in Dijon. And at Chalon, literally got off the train and literally walked to our riverboat for a beginner trip down the Saône River. You can see where we're going is right dead ahead there. Cuiserie. Anyway, I'm going to look at the town. So we walked from the train station, as I recall, which is down there, over to the quay, which is down there, and got on a boat, a river boat. And it was a great cruise. And I love the Saône River. It's not wide, it's not intimidating at all. It's a very intimate river, and we'd be going along through these narrow locks. There'd be a few guys to work the locks, and I don't remember how many locks we went through between here and Lyon, but it was quite a few. And there would be swans on the river. It was really cool. So I want to do that again, or at least virtually. We'll probably never go back there. But that's a great way to travel. If you can do it, take a river cruise. You just settle in, get all your meals on board. They have nice tours. So we did a nice tour out of here to Cluny, which is a fabulous monastery. It was a great day trip, afternoon trip. And that's over back towards Paris someplace. Anyway, it looks like a nice town. Go a little lower and get a better look. I prefer to fly prop planes. Actually, I haven't flown jets at all. I like flying low. I like seeing the scenery. I like being hands-on as much as I can. Although that means I'm not very consistent about my cruise altitude. Alright, well, let's follow the river now. I'm not going to do this as the crow flies. Just going to follow the Saône River. And I wonder if we'll see locks along the way. You have to go through locks because the terrain's not flat. It's gradually descending towards Lyon, the countryside, and go in these locks, and they're not much wider than the boat. Whereas on the Rhone, you can have more than one boat going through a set of locks at a time. But this would be, comparing this to the Rhone, would be like comparing a surface road to a freeway, something like that. If I don't use autopilot, I'm not very good at trimming my planes to stay at a constant altitude. I don't have a big trim wheel, so the trim wheel in the plane down there is big. So if I had a way to move that instead of the little one I have on my Logitech panel, probably do better. But it's not easy to do that with a mouse. I wonder what that village is over there. I'm going to go look. Maybe we have some live weather. Now I see some clouds. I didn't see any before. Anyway, we really enjoyed our travel down in southern France through Provence. It's beautiful. Okay, let us continue. Someday I'll dispense with these road signs, but I still feel the need of them. Now, one of the great things about the navigation, the avionics here, the G1000 NXi is, as compared to the stock G1000 that comes with a sim. This is a modification by Working Title that is not yet the default avionics, but you don't have to use it, but it gives you a much more realistic experience. I think we do have live weather here because plane's getting knocked around a bit. Anyway, it has all kinds of flavors of landing approaches, and I'm using a visual approach today, but it's still is GPS guided, and it will take me to the runway. And I'm going to land on runway 19. I'm going to get lined up now. And you can see the purple arrow down there in the left-hand window panel where it's converging into one line. When that becomes just one solid line, you know you're lined up with that runway. Even though I can't see the runway yet, I can be pretty sure of being lined up with it. So I'm going to go for it. Let's go. I'm going to lower flaps now to slow down. Pitch my nose down a little bit so I can see where the hell I'm going. And I'm going to go to full flaps. And I have to drop some speed. And I think this is going to be a pretty narrow runway. So let's just see. And I have no idea which way the wind is blowing down there. Right now we have about a 2-knot crosswind, or no crosswind. There's not much wind I can see on the primary flight display right here. That's the wind direction. Again, this is the Garmin, the G1000 NXi, which is pretty realistic, and it's the latest thing in avionics. And this plane probably only set you back an extra $50,000-$60,000, I would think. Now, I didn't do any due diligence, which would have meant actually flying a landing pattern. So I don't even know what this runway looks like. I don't know if I'm lined up with it either. I may not be. Not really. It's a grass runway, folks. And I gotta go around. So I gotta climb. Got me to the runway, but not lined up. I'm gonna raise my flaps entirely, throttle up, and go around. I get up to about, climb to about 1,200-1,300 feet. I don't know what the altitude of this airport is either. So I don't know how far, I don't know what my altitude is in relation to ground level. This only brought me provisionally to the runway, not really lined up with it. I have to do that all by eyeball. This may be. Well, kind of hard to pick it out since it's grass. I don't know whether I'm to the right of it or the left of it. This one, I think it's. If I can find it. I've kind of lost it actually. Where is it? Over there. Yep. I've still lost it. Alright. The fun of the flight sim, really, the challenging part, is putting these damn things on the ground after you take off. And as you can see, in a situation like this, it's not very cut and dried. So there's the airport, which I lost track of. And I've got to look for a landmark. We've got a big white field just to the, would be the left of the runway. So I'm going to use that thing, that bit of topography down there as my guide. And there's a church also. So I'm going to have to keep that church if I can. I have to keep that on my left. And I need to get down. I need to get down lower. I'd hate to see what the profile of this flight would look like. Up and down and up and down. I mean, altitude-wise, I'm like a drunken sailor here. Okay, that bit of that wheat field or whatever it is my landmark here. And that's what I'm going to look for to find the runway. So the other reference I have is how far I am. I'm about a couple of miles from the airport at this point. Okay, I want to go about 5 miles. Give myself a lot of room. 4 miles from the runway. And I gotta remember what I'm looking for to find the runway. To pick the runway, a grass runway, green runway out of the countryside is a challenge I'm finding. Alright, 5 miles out, I'm going to start a turn back. Now this is runway 19, so the heading is 190 degrees. And now I'm looking for that white spot, which is right over there. So I want to aim for that right now. So I'm looking for that wheat field, which is immediately to the left of the runway, just about. And I learned the hard way that this DFD display is not going to bring me right to the runway itself. Got about 2 miles to go. And I'm a little bit off kilter. You can see it now. Got to do a bit of an S turn here. Get lined up. See, I got full flaps. Let's see if we can make this. There's a church. Now where's the damn runway? Hard to tell. I think this is it right here. There aren't any, yeah, it's got some markings. Okay, so we're going in here. Right here. It's short. Yeah, it's a runway, I think. Looks like a runway to me. Alright. I don't much want to stick around here, though. Kodiak. I think I landed on the runway, and I can't really be sure. I don't even see a windsock. I don't think I want to stick around here, actually. So, let's get rid of that flight plan. Now I'm going to go on to one other little airport. Okay, back with you. So I'm going to do another leg, flying from Kodiak to Macon, Charnay, I think the name of it. It's about 20 miles, 21 miles. Yeah, I'm just going to take off here however I can. Go in the opposite direction from where I landed. Really hard to know where the runway begins and the meadow ends, or vice versa. I guess it doesn't matter. But you tell me where the damn runway is. I have no idea. This looks as good as anything. Flaps. Here we go. Alright. That's sort of a runway. As you can tell, this plane really wants to take off, which is nice. Find the river. Ideally, what you're supposed to do to trim a plane, as far as I understand it, is to use your yoke to level it out, and then to get it level, and then use the trim wheel down there to set it for your cruise altitude. And to me, that's really the greatest art of flying without using the autopilot. So gonna go about another 22 miles and see what that gets me. What kind of airport I'm gonna be landing at over there, because I don't know. 4,000 foot runway. The one we just landed on is only 2,400 feet. So that's pretty short. So I'm just navigating by the GPS, keeping the river in sight and trying not to get too high. So there it is, Charnay, 15 miles ahead. I'm just going to fly directly there, and I think I will fly a landing pattern so I can see what the heck it is I'm getting into on the ground. Well, one thing about doing this by air is I'm seeing a lot of countryside that, of course, we didn't see from the river, except when we got off to, take a bus to go on an excursion. They had those almost every day. In fact, the buses just followed the boat downriver. They were always the same drivers. And that boat held maybe 150 passengers. So they would split us up into tour groups. Go on separate buses. Well, I'm going to ostensibly get lined up with the runway down there. And we'll see if it really works, or whether I have to go around like I did at first one. We're about 9 miles out now from Charnay. And following the Saône River. Very pretty river. Well, I see a runway over there. That's a good sign. Looks like grass again. Raise the nose to bleed speed. And that is Macon, I think is the town. And I don't know that I'm really lined up here. So I think we'll just I'm going to get in the landing pattern. Alright, well, boy, they've got a, hey, this is big time. They've got a real honest-to-God runway here. That's exciting. Okay, so going for left traffic. I bet they have gas here, too. Oh, that's 3.5. Okay. They probably have shopping centers and everything. I bet you could get a really good croissant here. Oh, this is exciting. I think I can find this runway. It's 4,000 feet of asphalt. Yay! I'm going to try to stay where I am at about 1,500 feet. I get about 5 miles out from the runway. I'm going to turn back. See if we can put this puppy down in good form and try to find this thing again. That's a shadow down there. They think of everything in this software. The shadow of the plane, the weather, all that stuff. This might actually bring me into it. Slow down again. I see the runway. I have the runway in sight. Where that little cheater thing is. Charnay. 4.5 miles. I don't know if I'm ever going to give those up. I don't know if I could find anything without them. Put in a notch of flaps. Oh, this is great. We have a real runway with lights. They're serious here. And we're lined up per the GPS on the screen to the left, the PFD, primary flight display, where that purple arrow is. It's giving me lateral guidance to the runway, which is something that is always very helpful, so you don't land on somebody's house, you know. 85 knots true airspeed. Good landing speed in this plane, I think. Not very wide. It's not like flying into O'Hare or San Francisco or something. You don't have a lot of wiggle room side to side. So lining up properly is really critical. And we do have quite a bit of, whoops. Whoa, it was the active runway. You can see by the windsock the wind's barely blowing in this direction. Okay, well, that concludes today's excitement. I guess I go right here. I will be continuing from this airport south, eventually to Lyon, where the Saône meets the Rhône, and then south along the Rhône to Avignon. Go from where the Saône meets the Rhône and at Lyon, and then on to Avignon. Well, okay, well, thanks for joining me. If you did, well, if you watched this, you did. Hope you enjoyed the ride. Oh, I just gotta wait for